Every day, inflation is moving your retirement date further and further away. Do you want to know how much you'll need to retire, stay retired, and live comfortably? Well, keep watching as I'm going to break down the numbers to show you what you'll need to live on and enjoy the retirement of your dreams at the age you want to. Spoiler alert, you're going to need a solid financial plan to get you there. Remember when you'd see those TV commercials from the big box firms with people walking around with a large number over their heads representing the amount of money that they need in order to retire? Kind of silly, right? But the point was that there's a certain amount of money that you're going to need in order to stop working and live a life that you'll enjoy. In today's video, I'm going to present a case study of a married couple in their 50s who had no idea how much they needed in order to retire, or even what retirement was going to cost like. So if you're over the age of 50, if you're a high income earning married couple, and you've been focused on raising the kids for years and you have no plan for retirement, this video is for you. Let me introduce you to a couple of Seaside clients named Jason and Melissa, who've been married since NSYNC was on the scene back in the late 90s. Jason and Melissa are both 50 years old, live in Austin, Texas, and Jason works at Tesla. Melissa works at HEB, and they have 2 kids who've both graduated college and are in their 20s. Since the kids were born, Jason and Melissa have been devoted parents who are focused on giving their kids well-rounded childhoods and the most opportunities possible. They were literally taxi drivers for the kids as they drove all around Texas and beyond, while their son pursued travel baseball and their daughter played competitive soccer. Jason and Melissa worked their fingers to the bone during the kids' college years in order to pay for tuition and ensure that both kids could launch into adulthood without massive student loan debt. Now that their son and daughter are working and out of the house, Jason and Melissa are finally coming up for air, and they realize that the past 20 years have flown by in the blink of an eye. The big wake-up call for Jason was when he flipped through the mail and he found an AARP card addressed to him. He was so depressed. This was a guy who still viewed himself as a young man who could rock out to his favorite bands like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. It seemed just like yesterday that he and Melissa were at the college party, drinking beers with their friends and having a great time. Melissa laughed at Jason's sadness until she got her AARP card too, just a few months later. This is when they both realized that as fast as the last 20 years had flown by, the next 20 years could go by even faster, especially if grandkids came on the scene. So after talking to some friends, they knew that now was the time to focus on themselves and make a plan for their retirement. The first question they had was one that almost everyone does. What's our retirement number? And they knew one thing for sure, it was definitely more than $1 million because a lot has changed since 1999. Let me show you what they had and detail some of their issues. I think some of their challenges and goals may really resonate with your own. So when Jason and Melissa came to see us, we asked them a lot of questions to help them figure out what they wanted their future to look like. And at first, they really didn't have answers to those questions, but we've designed the process in such a way as to really take them on a guided journey. And so what came out of the first meeting was that both of them were comfortable working until 65 and having retirement start then, although Jason did express that he would really like to retire sooner than 65. And as you can see here, the kids both in their 20s, and as we mentioned, had graduated college, and they're off the payroll. Some of the top priorities and planning points that Jason and Melissa shared: Jason wanted to retire early if he could, he wanted to travel, he wanted to live a comfortable retirement, and he really wanted to buy a second home in retirement as well. Melissa wanted to remodel their existing house, she wanted to help her parents as they age, she wanted to pay for health care in retirement, and she wanted to pursue art in retirement. All very, very worthy goals and priorities. And so as you look at their balance sheet, what you can see is that Jason's doing a good job of saving to his 401k, but here's where you can see that he's got quite a few old 401ks that are just sitting out there. And as we looked at his investment holdings, we saw a lot of redundant expenses, we saw high fees, we saw lack of asset classes that doesn't allow him to properly diversify and build a good portfolio. And that's just because these old 401k plans are not as effective and efficient as they should be. Melissa, on the other hand, she's saving to her 401k at work. And then both Jason and Melissa have Roth IRAs. Now, they're making too much money today in order to contribute to Roth IRAs, but we did talk to them about a strategy called doing a backdoor Roth IRA strategy. Both of them are set up really, really well to do that. And that was one planning point that we coached them on. So as we take a look at Jason and Melissa's situation, what we find is that the first version of the plan that we put in place shows them having right around $1.4 million in liquid assets today. And by the time they retire, right here at age 65, they're on track to have roughly $3.8 million in their savings accounts across all those investment accounts. They're on a really good course here because Jason's maxing out his 401k, Melissa's putting money into her 401k, and they're growing, and it looks to be that they're in decent shape. Now, of course, we never take that for granted, and we always stress test our work. And when we stress tested the situation, so here's their cash flow statement right here, showing roughly almost $4 million left at the end of their life. And when we run that against 1,000 randomly generated scenarios, we find that the probability of success is 88%. And you could see that they're right here in the confidence zone, which goes from 82 to 100%. So they're squarely in the confidence zone, although as we explored a little further, we saw that there's definitely some opportunities to improve their situation. And some of the things we did, we found that Melissa needed to increase her 401k contribution amount. She hadn't increased her contributions in about 5 or 6 years because so every year the IRS changes or increases how much you can put to your retirement account. She just hadn't kept up with the increase, and she just stopped. And the other reason why is they were working really hard to get the kids through college. So cash flow was a little tight during the college years, and that was the first thing we did is we suggested that she increase her contributions to the 401k, which not only helped boost the retirement savings, but it also helped increase the tax deduction that they were getting. It lowered their taxable income. Speaking of that, we looked at the last 2 years of tax returns, and we found lots of ways to help lower their tax bill, which ultimately saved them money. We reviewed their living expenses, and we found that there was small little leaks in the boat, just money going here, there, and everywhere that they weren't really aware of. There was subscriptions, there was memberships, there was things they were paying for that they'd forgotten they were paying for. So we helped them clean that up. We also helped, there was a little bit of a conflict between Jason and Melissa about how much they were going to be giving or paying the kids and how much of the kids' bills that they would pay. And we helped to kind of mediate that conflict and came out with a good compromise where they were able to still help the kids out, but not at the point where they were going to really hurt their financial future. So on top of that, I mentioned that we coached them on how to do a backdoor Roth IRA strategy. And we also found that they were overpaying for their insurances. So we looked across the board and we found ways to have them have high quality insurance products and save some money in the process. So the combination of all of these tactics that we put together, let me show you the resulting impact. We looked at it going from a good situation to a great situation, and all of these little planning techniques that I just mentioned added about $1.1 million of total value to their overall net worth over their lifetime. I mean, heck, this covered a lifetime of our planning fees just by more than a lifetime of our planning fees by taking some of our guidance here. Not only were we able to add $1.1 million of value, but we were able to increase the probability of success to 99%. Jason and Melissa were thrilled. So for Jason and Melissa, the number they needed was about $3 million, but everyone is different. Each couple has a wide variety of goals, challenges, and assets. The rule of thumb these days is that you'll need about $2 to $3 million to have a comfortable retirement. The main point of me detailing Jason and Melissa for you isn't to provide a hard figure of money. It's to show you that beyond the number, you need a financial plan. You can't go to where you're going without knowing the destination before you leave your home. And if you can relate to Jason and Melissa or their challenges and goals, I invite you to reach out to us at Seaside Wealth Management for a free consultation to discuss a retirement plan. We know there can be a lot of stress and anxiety in confronting finances in the future, but we're experienced in helping our clients create peace around the issue of money, both now and in retirement. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel below and share this with friends who you think can benefit from it as well. We look forward to seeing you soon.